Tom was an ordinary man from Earth, living a simple life. He worked a 9-to-5 job in a small office and had no extraordinary dreams. Life was routine, nothing out of the ordinary. That was until one day when everything changed. Tom sat at his desk, staring at his computer screen. It was just another average day with the usual paperwork to handle. He was ready to finish his shift when an email popped up in his inbox. It looked strange, something that didn't belong in his usual stream of spam and work emails. The subject line read, "A unique opportunity for you." Tom hesitated. He wasn't the type to click on mysterious emails, but something about it caught his attention. He opened it. The email was short and to the point. It was an invitation to join a colony on a distant planet. It claimed that the colony needed men to help balance its population. The email promised free housing, food, and a new life on an alien world. In exchange, all that was required was that Tom fulfill his role as a male on a planet where men were in short supply. The email assured him that there were no hidden tricks, and everything would be provided for him. Tom blinked, unsure if he was reading it correctly. This couldn't be real, could it? An alien colony, far away from Earth, needing men? He almost deleted the message, but something stopped him. He looked at the offer one more time. Free housing, a new life, and an adventure. It was everything Tom had ever wanted, though he'd never known it before. What did he have to lose? Without much thought, Tom clicked on the link to apply. The form was simple and asked for basic details: name, age, health status, and a few questions about why he was interested in the opportunity. He filled it out quickly, not expecting to hear back. But to his surprise, a response came a few days later. It was official. His application had been accepted. His new life awaited him. On the colony, Tom was nervous but excited. He packed his things, leaving behind his dull job and simple apartment. The idea of traveling to another planet was beyond anything he had ever imagined. He wasn't sure what kind of life awaited him, but he knew it had to be better than what he had back home. The next few weeks passed in a blur. Tom underwent medical tests, received a brief orientation on what life would be like on the alien colony, and learned about the basic customs of the Zarans, the species that inhabited the planet. The flight was long and strange, with the ship traveling through space at unimaginable speeds. But soon the journey came to an end, and the spaceship arrived at the colony. The colony was located on a lush, green planet, far from Earth's reach. The sky was a bright, deep blue, and the air smelled fresh, almost like a forest after a rain. Tom's first impression was that the colony looked more like a peaceful utopia than anything he had seen on Earth. The buildings were sleek and futuristic, and the people, though not human, had a calm and welcoming energy about them. As Tom stepped off the spaceship, he was greeted by a small group of Zarans, led by two alien women, Rilla and Zara. They were both tall, graceful, and had an aura of elegance. Their eyes were a shimmering silver, and their skin had a faint glow, though it wasn't overbearing. They greeted Tom warmly, introducing themselves in perfect English. "We are pleased to have you here, Tom," said Rilla, the first to speak. "This colony has been waiting for someone like you. You're a very important guest." Tom stood there, unsure of what to say. He wasn't used to being the center of attention, especially in such a strange place. But Rilla's warm smile and Zara's calm presence helped him feel at ease. "Thank you," Tom replied, still taking in the sights around him. Zara stepped forward. "We understand this is a big change for you. We'll guide you through everything and help you adjust to your new life here." The two women seemed genuine in their hospitality. They led Tom to his new home, a beautiful house located near the center of the colony. The house was equipped with everything he could ever need: furniture, food, and even some entertainment technology from the Zarans. It was all set up as if they had been waiting for him to arrive. Tom couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. This was nothing like Earth. The air was cleaner, the buildings more advanced, and the people, although not human, seemed welcoming. But as he entered his new home, he began to feel a strange sense of unease. There was something about all of this that didn't quite add up. As the days passed, Tom's unease grew. He began to meet more of the colony's inhabitants, all of whom were friendly but had strange customs. The Zarans had a way of looking at him, a curiosity in their eyes. He couldn't help but notice the way Rilla and Zara's interest in him seemed to deepen with each passing day. One evening, as the sun set over the alien landscape, Rilla invited Tom to a dinner in her home. It was there that she first brought up the colony's need for males. "There's a tradition here," Rilla said softly, "one that's deeply important to our people. We believe that every family must have a male to ensure the continuation of our species. The colony has been struggling with a gender imbalance for some time, and that's why we asked for help." Tom didn't know how to respond. He had never thought about his role in a society that wasn't Earth's. Rilla continued, "You are here to help us, Tom, and in return, we offer you a home, a future, and perhaps more than you expect." I didn't fully understand what she meant, but the way she looked at him made him feel nervous, yet intrigued. As the evening continued, Zara joined them, her calm demeanor adding to the warmth of the evening. The conversation shifted from serious topics to lighthearted ones, and before long, Tom began to relax. But in the back of his mind, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stepped into something much larger than he could ever have imagined. As the night drew to a close, Rilla and Zara walked him back to his new home. The stars shone brightly overhead, and for a moment, Tom wondered if he had made the right choice. But it was too late to turn back now. He had a new life ahead of him. On this strange planet, one that held more than a few surprises, the following days felt like a whirlwind for Tom. He had arrived in the colony with nothing more than the clothes on his back and a few simple belongings. Now he found himself in a beautiful, futuristic home on a strange, lush planet. It was like a dream, but it was also overwhelming. The air was fresh, and the sun's light felt different on his skin warmer somehow, and yet soothing. Each morning, Rilla and Zara would visit him. At first, Tom had felt strange around them. They were nothing like the people he knew back on Earth. Their appearance was otherworldly. But it wasn't just their looks that made him feel out of place. It was the way they looked at him like. He was important in ways he couldn't understand. The house was large, almost too big for a single person. But everything he could possibly need was already there. The kitchen had more advanced appliances than anything on Earth, and the living room had a view of the planet's blue sky, which was so clear that it almost seemed unreal. Tom wasn't sure what he was supposed to do now. He'd been given a new life, but with no clear direction. Rilla and Zara had promised to help him adjust, but their presence made him uneasy. They were kind, yes, but there was an intensity to them that Tom couldn't shake off. One afternoon, after several days of getting used to the colony, Tom was asked to join a meeting. Rilla and Zara took him to a large building at the center of the colony. Inside, several other Zarans were already gathered. They greeted him warmly. The conversation quickly turned to the purpose of his presence. "We need your help," Tom said, one of the colony leaders, a tall Zaran male named Tellan. "Our species has been struggling with the imbalance for centuries. The colony's survival depends on our ability to rebuild families. You are here to help us, and in return, we will offer you everything." Tom was still trying to process everything. The Zarans had no males of their own, and that's why they had sent out the invitation to Earth. It sounded like an unbelievable situation. But here he was, sitting in a room full of aliens, discussing his role in their future. Talon continued, "Your presence here is more than just a formality. You are the key to our survival, and the bond you form with our people will be vital for the colony's growth." Tom looked at Rilla and Zara, who stood by his side. They seemed calm, but there was a hint of something deeper in their eyes, something that made Tom uneasy. But Tom asked cautiously, "What do you want from me?" "I don't understand." "I thought I was just here to help with the population issue." Rilla stepped forward and smiled gently. "Tom, you are here for much more than that. The Zarans have always believed that a bond between male and female is vital to maintaining balance. The relationship between you and our people is not only necessary for our survival, is a tradition." Tom felt a chill run down his spine. "A bond?" he repeated, confused. Zara nodded, her voice calm yet firm. Yes, Tom, you are important to us, in ways you may not fully understand yet. We want to help you find your place here. We want to guide you in this new life. Tom's heart raced as he tried to process what they were saying. He'd come here for a fresh start, but he had never imagined it would involve something like this. Still, he couldn't deny the appeal of the peaceful colony and the kindness the Zorans had shown him. He had a home, something he never had back on Earth, and the chance to build a new life. But the idea of a bond with two alien women was far beyond anything he had expected. Over the next few days, Tom continued to meet with Rilla, Zara, and other members of the colony. He was given tours of the settlement, which seemed to thrive on peace and cooperation. Zorans were clearly intelligent. With technology that far exceeded anything on Earth, they had mastered renewable energy and had built a society that valued community over individualism. The more Tom learned about the Zaran way of life, the more he saw how much they depended on him. It wasn't just the need for males. They needed a strong family unit to maintain their way of life, something that was integral to their very existence. And Tom had a part to play in that. He began to notice small signs of affection from Rilla and Zara. It wasn't just their warm smiles or the way they would touch his arm lightly when they spoke to him. It was in the way they looked at him, as if they were waiting for something, or perhaps offering something. Tom had never been the center of attention like this. It made him feel both special and strange at the same time. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Rilla and Zara took him to a quiet spot near the colony's edge. They sat on a bench, the soft breeze rustling through the trees. "I know this is a lot for you to take in," Tom Rilla said, her voice soft and reassuring. "But we believe in you. This is the beginning of something new for all of us." Zara added, "The bond we share will not only help our colony grow, but it will help us build something even stronger. Something that will last." Tom felt a mix of emotions as he listened to them. He didn't fully understand their customs, but the sincerity in their voices made him feel a connection he couldn't ignore. For the first time since arriving, Tom began to feel a sense of belonging. This place, these people, they were offering him something more than just a new home. They were offering him a future. "I'll need time to think about all of this," Tom said, his voice steady despite the whirlwind of thoughts racing through his mind. "We understand," Zara said kindly. "Take all the time you need. No, this whatever you decide, you will always have a place here." The evening passed quietly, and as Tom walked back to his home, he couldn't shake the feeling that his life had changed forever. He had come to this planet looking for a fresh start, but he had found something far more complex than he could have ever imagined. The colony was peaceful, yes. But the people here weren't just looking for help, they were looking for something deeper. And so was Tom. The days passed slowly for Tom as he adjusted to his new life in the colony. Each day brought new discoveries, new customs, and new faces. But despite the peaceful surroundings, something about his new life felt like it was building up to something bigger. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was standing at the edge of a new chapter, one that would change everything. Rilla and Zara continued to visit him daily, helping him settle in and guiding him through the colony's systems. They taught him how to use the advanced technology, showed him the many ways the colony kept itself running, and explained the importance of community and cooperation. But with each passing day, they grew closer to him in ways Tom wasn't entirely sure how to handle. They always seemed to have an unspoken connection, like two people who shared a bond that was deeper than friendship. At first, Tom thought it was simply their culture. They were, after all, an advanced species with customs he didn't fully understand. But as time went on, he started to wonder if their interest in him was more than just cultural duty. One evening, after a long day of walking through the colony and getting to know more about its inner workings, Tom was invited to dinner at Rilla's home. It was a beautiful house, nestled among towering trees and surrounded by a garden that bloomed with exotic flowers. The air smelled sweet, and the soft hum of the colony's energy systems provided a soothing background sound. Rilla and Zara were already there, waiting for him. The table was set with colorful dishes, most of which Tom had never seen before. He felt both nervous and excited, unsure of what the evening would bring. As he sat down, the two women exchanged glances that Tom didn't quite understand, but felt a strange sense of warmth in. "Please, Tom," Rilla said, smiling as she served him a plate of food. "We want you to feel at home here. This is your new family." Tom blinked, confused by her words. "Family," he repeated. "Yes," Zara said softly. "We want to build a family with you, Tom. You are here for a reason, and it's more than just to help our colony. You are here to be part of something bigger than yourself." Tom looked between them, unsure how to respond. I don't understand. I thought I was just here to help with the population issue," Rilla smiled. Gently, her eyes filled with understanding. "It's true that we needed males to balance our colony, but it's more than that. We don't just need you for our survival. We need you for our future, for our families, for our future generations." Tom felt a knot form in his stomach. This was not the conversation he had expected to have. Rilla and Zara had been kind and welcoming, but now it seemed as if they were asking him for something he hadn't prepared for. "You're asking me to bond with you?" he asked hesitantly. Still not fully understanding, Zara nodded, her expression calm. "Yes, Tom. We have no males of our own, and that has created an imbalance. Our species, our colony, is built on the foundation of strong family units. You can help us build that." Tom could feel his heart racing. This was more than anything he had imagined when he first arrived. He had come here for a fresh start, for a chance to leave behind the life he had on Earth. But now it seemed as if he had been pulled into something much deeper. "I don't know if I'm ready for something like that," Tom said quietly, looking down at his plate. "I've never been in a situation like this before." Rilla leaned forward, her voice soft but firm. "Tom, we understand that this is a big step for you. But you must know that this is how our society works. A bond is not just between two people. It is a bond that strengthens the entire colony. You are important, Tom. You are part of something much bigger than yourself," Zara added. "We are not asking for something you cannot give. We're simply offering you a future here with us. A future where we build families together, where we support each other, and where we thrive as a community." Tom sat back in his chair, his mind spinning. This was not what he had expected. He had come here seeking something simple, something new, but now he was being asked to take on a responsibility that seemed far greater than anything he had ever imagined. He had never been someone to take on such a large role in anyone's life. But here in this strange new world, it seemed that the expectations were different. Rilla reached across the table and placed her hand gently on his. "Take your time to think about it, Tom. We do not want you to feel pressured. But know, we are here for you, no matter what you decide. You have a place here, with us, in this colony." Zara smiled softly, her eyes filled with warmth. "We want you to be part of our lives, Tom. Together, we can make this colony stronger. Together, we can build something beautiful." Tom felt torn. He didn't know what to do. His heart told him to take the chance to embrace the opportunity for something new and exciting. His mind was filled with questions, doubts, and fears about what it would mean for his future. He didn't want to rush into anything without fully understanding what was at stake. "I just need time," Tom said, his voice quiet but determined. "This is all so new to me, and I need time to think about it." Rilla nodded, understanding. "Of course, Tom. Take all the time you need. But know that the invitation is always open. When you are ready, we will be here." The rest of the evening passed quietly, with Tom lost in his thoughts. As the stars began to twinkle in the sky above, he couldn't help but wonder if this was the beginning of something life-changing. Was he really ready for this new life? Could he embrace the bond they were offering him? Or was he simply overwhelmed by the pressure of his new role? As he lay down that night, staring up at the unfamiliar ceiling, Tom knew that the coming days would be filled with difficult decisions. His life had already changed in ways he couldn't fully comprehend. But one thing was clear: he couldn't go back. He had crossed a line, and now there was no turning back. The days following the dinner were heavy on Tom's mind. He had never imagined his life would take such a dramatic turn. He had come to this strange world for a fresh start, but now it seemed he was being pulled into something much bigger than himself. Every time he saw Rilla and Zara, he felt the weight of the decision pressing on him. The colony continued to function smoothly. It was a place of peace where everyone seemed to know their role and contributed to the greater good. The Zarans were advanced, intelligent beings, living in harmony with their environment. But for all the beauty and calm of the planet, Tom couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was at play. Something he wasn't sure he was ready to be part of. Rilla and Zara remained patient with him, understanding that Tom needed time to adjust, but as the days went on, Tom could feel the pressure building. He had grown close to them. But he wasn't sure how much of that was due to the bond they shared with him and how much of it was genuine. He felt conflicted. Part of him wanted to say yes, to embrace the opportunity they were offering, while another part of him was terrified of losing his independence. One evening, as Tom sat in his home, he received a message from Zara. It was short, but it carried weight. She invited him to join her for a walk outside the colony. Tom hesitated, wondering what it could be about. But he knew he had to face this. He couldn't keep hiding from the inevitable. When he met Zara near the edge of the colony, she greeted him with a warm smile, though Tom could see the concern in her eyes. "Tom," she began softly, "I know this has been difficult for you. You've come to a new world, and everything is so different. But I want you to know, you don't have to make any decision right away." Tom nodded, but remained quiet. He didn't know what to say. The idea of committing to a life in this colony with Rilla and Zara felt like too much for him. It wasn't just the bond they wanted, it was everything about this new life. Everything felt foreign, and while he had enjoyed the beauty of the planet, the simplicity of his old life still called to him. "I appreciate that," Tom said after a pause. "But I don't know if I'm ready for what you're asking. I came here because I thought I could just help out. But now it feels like I'm expected to be more than just a man here. I'm supposed to be something important, something I don't think I can be." Zara listened carefully, her expression softening. "I understand," she said gently. "But Tom, we never asked you to be something you're not. We simply want you to be yourself. Our people need what you can offer, but we also want you to choose this life because it feels right to you." Tom felt a tightness in his chest. It was easy to get lost in the colony's beauty and the kindness of Rilla and Zara, but the idea of living up to the expectations of an entire species, especially when he wasn't sure what he wanted, was overwhelming. He had never felt so lost in his life. "I just don't know if I'm ready for this," Tom admitted. "I don't know if I can be the person you want me to be." Zara stepped closer, placing a hand gently on his arm. "Ow." "You don't have to be perfect, Tom. You just have to try. We believe in you, and we know you can be the man you want to be here." Tom looked into Zara's eyes, seeing the sincerity there. He could feel the weight of the moment, but he also felt something else. A sense of connection, of belonging that he hadn't experienced before. He could feel his heart starting to open up, but his mind still fought it. Could he really give up everything he knew for something so unfamiliar? "Everything here is so different," Tom said quietly. "I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in." Zara smiled gently, her eyes filled with understanding. "You don't have to figure it all out at once. We are here for you, no matter what. You don't have to make any decisions today, or even tomorrow. Take your time." Tom nodded, though he didn't feel completely at ease. There was so much at stake. His future, his life, it all felt tied to a place he had just arrived at. He had never been the kind of person to make decisions like this. He liked stability, and the idea of uprooting everything for an uncertain future terrified him. The following days were filled with more of the same. Rilla and Zara continued to support him, but Tom couldn't shake the feeling that his presence here was starting to have consequences beyond his understanding. As much as they reassured him, he couldn't ignore the weight of the colony's expectations. He began to feel trapped, torn between the life he had known and the life that was being offered to him. The colony was beautiful, peaceful, and thriving, but it wasn't Earth. It wasn't the life he had planned for himself. And the pressure to commit to something so foreign was beginning to take its toll on him. Tom spent long hours walking around the colony, trying to clear his head. He visited the gardens, sat by the shimmering lakes, and watched the Zarans go about their daily routines. Everything seemed so perfect. But perfection came with a cost, and Tom couldn't escape the feeling that he was part of something he didn't fully understand. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, Rilla found him sitting by the lake. She sat down beside him, offering him a soft smile. "I see you're still wrestling with your thoughts," she said gently. "It's not an easy decision, I know. But Tom, you have to understand, this colony needs you, just as we need you. It's not about pressure. It's about making the choice that's right for you." Tom turned to look at her, feeling the weight of her words. "I'm just scared," he admitted. "Scared of making the wrong choice. Scared that I'll lose myself in all of this." Rilla's expression softened. "You won't lose yourself, Tom. You will find a new version of yourself, one that you never knew existed. And no matter what happens, we will be here with you." Tom took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the evening air. The calm of the colony had a way of easing his mind, but it couldn't erase his doubts. He needed to make a choice soon before. The pressure overwhelmed him. But as he sat there with Rilla, he realized something. He wasn't just making a choice for himself anymore. He was part of something bigger. And no matter what decision he made, it would shape the future of the colony, and perhaps even his own future. The days after his conversation with Rilla and Zara felt like a blur to Tom. The pressure was mounting, but so was the sense of connection he had begun to feel. His mind was still in turmoil, torn between the comfortable life he had left behind on Earth and the new, unknown life that was being offered to him in the colony. But with each passing day, he began to realize something important. This wasn't just about him anymore. It wasn't just about whether or not he felt ready for the life they were offering. It was about the future of the colony, of Rilla, Zara, and everyone else here. They needed him. And in some strange way, he needed them too. One afternoon, Tom found himself walking through the colony's fields, thinking about everything. The sun was warm on his face, and the air was fresh and crisp. He had never been in a place like this before. Everything was so peaceful, so perfect, that it almost felt unreal. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that Earth was a distant memory now. He had crossed into a new world, a world where he could be someone different, someone better. But he still had to decide what kind of person that would be. Rilla had said that the bond was not just a personal one, but a way to help the colony grow. It was a responsibility, a duty, and while the idea of that frightened him, he also understood that it wasn't about just fulfilling a role. It was about building something with others, something that would last. "Tom," a familiar voice called. From behind him, he turned to see Rilla walking toward him, a gentle smile on her face. She had always been kind, patient, and understanding. But there was something else in her eyes now, something that told him she knew he was struggling with his decision. "Can we talk?" she asked softly. Tom nodded and fell into step beside her. They walked in silence for a moment, enjoying the beauty of the landscape before Tom finally spoke. "I've been thinking a lot," he said slowly, "and I don't know if I'm ready for all of this. It's so different from what I'm used to." Rilla nodded, her expression understanding. "I know it's a big change, Tom, but change is a part of life, and sometimes we need to embrace it in order to grow. You've already made it this far. You've already started to build something here. The bond, the family, the community, these things are important." "I know," Tom replied, his voice quiet. "Bond I'm worried about. It's the life I'm leaving behind. I don't know if I can let go of everything." Rilla stopped walking and turned to face him. She placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch comforting. "You don't have to let go of everything. You are not alone in this. We're here for you, and we will help you find your place in this world. The future is uncertain for all of us, but that doesn't mean we can't walk through it together." Tom looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity and warmth there. He could feel the connection growing between them, something he couldn't explain but was beginning to accept. He had come here thinking it was just about helping the colony, but now he saw it as something more. It was about building a future, not just for the Zarans, but for himself as well. "I'm scared," Tom admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Scared of making the wrong choice, Rilla smiled gently. It's okay to be scared, Tom, but you can't let fear control you. You have a future here, you have a family here, and we need you just as much as you need us. Tom looked down at the ground, the weight of her words sinking in. For the first time, he realized that fear wasn't something that had to hold him back. It was just something to face, to push through. The future, as uncertain as it was, wasn't something to run from. It was something to embrace. As they continued walking, Tom began to feel a sense of clarity that had been missing before. Pressure wasn't gone, but it was different now. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, he felt more grounded, more sure of himself. The colony wasn't just a place to hide from his past, it was a place to build something new. And in that moment, he realized that the life he was starting here could be his own. Didn't have to give up who he was. He just had to grow into the man he was meant to be. That evening, after dinner with Rilla and Zara, Tom sat on the balcony of his home, looking out at the stars. The night sky was different, here darker, deeper, with 1,000 more stars than he could ever see on Earth. It felt like a new beginning, and for the first time since arriving, Tom could see a future here. It wasn't just about fitting in or meeting expectations. It was about finding a new purpose, a new family, and a place where he could truly belong. Rilla and Zara had offered him a future. Yes, but now Tom realized that he had a choice. He could either embrace it or walk away. And the more he thought about it, the more he understood that this was his path to take. It wasn't just about the colony's survival. It was about his survival. 2. The next morning, he met with Rilla and Zara in the garden, the sun casting a golden light over everything. I've made my decision, Tom said, his voice steady. I want to stay. I want to help build something here, something real. I'm ready to be part of this. Rilla and Zara exchanged a look. Their eyes filled with relief and happiness. We're glad you made this choice, Tom, Zara said, her voice soft but firm. We've always believed in you. Rilla smiled, her expression warm and genuine. Is just the beginning, Tom. Together, we'll build something that will last. Tom felt a wave of warmth spread through him. It was a feeling of acceptance, of finally understanding that he was not alone. He had a place here, with Rilla and Zara, and with the colony. The future was still uncertain, but it didn't matter anymore. For the first time, Tom felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. The days following Tom's decision felt like a new beginning. He had chosen to stay in the colony, to embrace the future that Rilla, Zara, and the rest of the Zorans had offered him. But while his decision had brought him a sense of peace, it also marked the start of a journey he couldn't fully predict. Tom had begun to feel more comfortable in the colony. The once strange customs, the advanced technology, and the people who were so different from what he knew on Earth had become part of his everyday life. He no longer felt like an outsider, struggling to understand a world that wasn't his own. Instead, he had found his place, not just among the Zarans, but within the community itself. Rilla and Zara remained by his side, offering their support and guidance as he continued to settle in. They showed him the deeper aspects of the colony there, history, their traditions, and the values that held the Zorans together as a species. They also shared with him more personal moments, simple walks through the fields, shared meals, and conversations under the stars. Tom realized that what he had once feared most, the bond they wanted, wasn't just a formality. It was a connection, a shared understanding that transcended simple words. One evening, as the sun began to set and the stars slowly appeared in the sky, Tom found himself sitting with Rilla and Zara by the lake. The air was warm and the water shimmered with the fading light. It was a quiet moment, the kind that made Tom feel more at peace than he ever had before. He looked at Rilla and Zara, who sat beside him, their eyes reflecting the same calm that the lake offered. I never thought I'd find a place like this, Tom said, his voice soft. Back on Earth, I was always searching for something more, but I never knew what it was. Now, I think I found it. Rilla smiled at him, her expression filled with warmth. You've found a home, Tom. This place, this life, it's yours. Now, and it's more than just a place to live. It's a place to grow, to build something real. Zara nodded in agreement. We're glad you made the choice you did. We've always believed that you belonged here. Together, we can build something that will last for generations. Tom looked at them both, his heart swelling with gratitude. He had made the right choice. It hadn't been easy, but he had come to understand that it wasn't about fitting into their world. It was about building something new together, and that was exactly what he wanted now. The next day, Tom was invited to a meeting with the colony's leadership. It was time to officially take on his role in the community. Rilla and Zara accompanied him, their presence comforting. As they entered the meeting hall, Tom noticed the faces of the colony's leaders, men and women of various species, all looking at him with anticipation. We are glad you've decided to stay, Tom, said Talon, the colony's leader. Decision is not just a victory for us, is a symbol of our future. Tom took a deep breath, standing tall as he addressed the room. I'm here to help, to contribute in any way I can. I'm not just a visitor anymore. This is my home now, and I'm ready to be a part of its future. The room filled with a sense of approval, and Tom felt a wave of pride wash over him. This wasn't just about being needed, it was about being valued. For the first time, Tom realized that he wasn't just an outsider fulfilling a role. He was a part of something much larger, something that had meaning. As the meeting continued, Tom was introduced to various aspects of the colony's future plans. He was given a role in helping to organize the community, working alongside Rilla, Zara, and the other leaders. The colony's future was bright, but it needed guidance. Tom was more than willing to help steer it in the right direction. After the meeting, Rilla and Zara took Tom to a quiet part of the colony, away from the bustle of everyday life. Sat on a bench overlooking a vast garden, sound of distant water flowing gently in the background. I'm proud of you, Rilla said, her voice soft. You've come a long way since you first arrived. You're not just a man here, Tom. You're a leader. Tom smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride in her words. I couldn't have done it without you two. You've been there for me every step of the way. Zara's eyes sparkled as she spoke. And we'll continue to be here for you, Tom. This is just the beginning. Together, we will build something that will last for generations to come. As the days turned into weeks, Tom found himself taking on more responsibility in the colony. He worked with the other leaders to organize the settlement's growth, ensuring that it could sustain itself for the future. The tasks weren't easy, but they gave him a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. One evening, as the colony prepared for another celebration of its continued growth, Tom stood beside Rilla and Zara, looking out over the bustling streets. The lights from the city sparkled in the distance, and the sounds of laughter and music filled the air. It was a celebration of the colony's success, but it was also a celebration of something deeper, the bond that had been formed between its people, and the new life that was now theirs to shape. Rilla looked at Tom, her eyes filled with warmth. You're a part of this now, Tom. This is your home, your family. Tom smiled, feeling the truth of her words. This was his home now. He had found a place where he belonged, where his past didn't define him. The future was uncertain, but it didn't matter anymore. He was part of something bigger than himself, and that was enough. As the night continued, Tom looked up at the stars. They were just as bright as they had been when he first arrived, but now they seemed to shine with promise. The promise of a future filled with love, family, and community. A future that was his to shape, alongside Rilla, Zara, and the rest of the colony.